Hello, everyone. Hello, I'm Lakwanda.
And I'm Jerome, relationship coaches and founders of One Heart Couples in Richmond. And welcome to this week's edition of Straight from the Heart.
On today's episode, we're going to be talking about dealing with conflict. So we're going to have a discussion with this couple today and just see how they handle issues when they arise, if they're having certain conflicts, and see how they handle those issues and kind of find out what works and what doesn't work. Speaking of conflict, did you know that 60% of the arguments that you have are going to be perpetual? Which means they will never be able to be resolved. So don't stress. Don't worry about it. We're going to give you some best practices that you can use the next time you find yourself in a conflict with your spouse. Let me go ahead and introduce our couple today. We have Barbara and Ben. How you guys doing?
We're doing good.
Great. How you doing?
Good.
Relax. No, I'm just kidding. How you guys doing though? You good? You good? I appreciate you guys being here. Really do. Oh, no problem.
So why don't we start out about, you guys tell us a little bit about yourselves, how long you've been together, a little bit about your relationship.
Okay. Go ahead and take that.
I understand. Hey, we got to lead. We got to lead, so I understand that. Now you got the flow.
All right. We've been together 9 years.
Now, hold on, let's go. That 9 years seems sketchy. It seems like you want to say 8 or 10. Like you in the
No.
You good?
I'm good.
Okay, my bad. I ain't mean
I'm good on that dime.
I'm good. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. Sorry, y'all. Go ahead.
So, just like all couples, we have conflict of interest on different situations and things like that. But we come together as one and try to come up with a good, happy medium.
What you mean by that?
The C word, of course, compromise.
Compromise. That's right. Compromise, pretty much.
What you thinking, like?
I think conflict will arise. There's no perfect relationship. Again, and like he said, we try to reach that happy medium. You know, what will work for you will work for me. So anytime we just try to have a discussion, try to hash it out.
Got you. Well, I'll tell you something like with us, conflict definitely arises, 50, 60 million times?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's what happened, though. We've been together almost 21 years. And that's why I say in between. Let me get it right, because I don't want to get smacked in the head. 21 years, and when we first kind of got together, conflict always arose because of who I was. You know, she was supposed to, in my eyes, bow down to me because I was the big bad Jerome Murray, and I'm the basketball star, and she better do this and she better do that. Well, how much you think conflict gonna rise in that situation by her being a strong woman? Guess what? We ready to throw pots and pans, but nothing of that type of nature. But so I understand where you guys coming from when you say conflict always arises, and things that were what we tried to combat with that was really her. God was working through her years ago before I even knew who God was. So I had to make sure that, hey, once I started following her, conflict started getting less and less and less, and we started incorporating something into our relationship, and that's that P word is prayer. And we try to do it like all the time now. So that really cuts out a lot of, conflict. And the conflict of hers is the thing she always gets on me about is cooking. I got a chef, so ain't no sense in me cooking if I got a chef right here. but what I've started to do is just I don't know as much as she knows in the kitchen, but just being in there, maybe cut up some meat, cut up some vegetables, pepper salt, do something, the barbecue, because she made, now she found out I know how to barbecue, so guess what? We on the grill all day long. So we on the grill all day long. We grilling everything, cereal, hamburger, anything. She making me do the grill. So doing stuff like that and praying on situations like that has really, helped us in situations with conflict and stuff like that. But I just wanted to put that little tidbit in there.
Oh, yeah. Like he said, when we first started out, we were like this all the time. But then again, we started out as kids.
True.
High school, 16, 18 years old. So we had to learn a lot of things. And so we never want people to think now that we don't still have conflicts on a regular basis, because we do. So we don't by any means want anybody to think, oh, we got it figured out, and
Yeah,
because people say, oh, y'all coaching, but
Yeah.
but we still have issues, and so we just know how to work them out a little bit better than what we did before.
And people have to understand what conflict is. Conflict doesn't mean let's kill each other and crack heads. We human beings. Everybody has a different opinion at all times. It's just about how you handle those things and things of that type of nature. So that's what we mean by conflict, stuff like that. But now, don't go hurt nobody, things of that type of nature. So, but go ahead, sweetie.
Okay, so I'm just wondering from you guys, maybe you can give us an example of maybe an issue you had to deal with and how you go about handling that and still be okay at the end of the day. Because we talk a lot about couples going through things, and I know a couple, for example, that we counsel, and every time they argue, they break up. So I'm like, it's got to get better to where you can't break up every time you have a fight about something. Like, you got to be able to get back to yourself at the end of the day. So kind of just talk to us about how you all are able to deal with those issues and still keep it together. Because 9 years is a long time.
I can give an example. Our schedules, that's a really big conflict. I work 8 to 5. I do work some evenings and weekends, but he has 2 jobs. He has his own lawn care service, plus he works a second shift. So time is really an issue. It's a conflict. So the way that we deal with that, we try to schedule time. We'll talk, we'll text during the day, and then we'll schedule different things, like we'll go eat or just plan an event where we'll take a drive and just woosah. So we can get that quality time, because when I'm getting off work, you still at work.
Gotcha.
So that's an issue that has been an issue for years? 5 years?
Don't say 9. 9 is
Yeah, since he's had the lawn care service, so about 5 years.
So how much does that, and just being honest, how much does it do you think affects the relationship?
It affects it a lot, because sometimes you need that time alone.
True.
But at the same time, you need your partner too, as well, to pick you up at the end of the day when you've had a long day. So my day may be 18 hours, where her day was only 8 hours.
Right.
So at the end of it, you need that person to actually pick you up.
Right. Well, y'all better than me, because my wife, she used to work, third shift one time, like overnight. Oh, absolutely not. She made good money. Good money, but that wasn't gonna happen. You got to come home. No, you got to quit that. You got to quit that job. That ain't gonna happen. That job is over with. No, she worked for the government, had good benefits, good everything. We was rolling, but when I thought about, we talking about like relationships and marriage, it just wasn't conducive for us being together. Sometimes money is not as important as the relationship, things of that nature. So she didn't even, really hesitate. It was the fact that I'm sure she wanted to be at home with me, because you're talking about third shift. That's never sleeping in the bed with your spouse. Oh, that is a crucial time, So so that's just a little bit of some of the stuff we went through, but we had to cut that off. That was over with. Let's
And
do
then
something
he
else.
gets off at 10:30, so by the time he gets home at 12, and it's a Friday night, and your homegirl's kicking in, and you at home, and your boo at work, and he's like, I want to go out too. But you can't, because he at work. So I think the way that we handle it is we have a me time. I'll go out, hang out with my friends. He has his me time, but we also have that time where we're together. And we don't, allow any interactions. We're just attentive to one another. We're focused on one another. So we're not on our phones. We're not worrying about what we need to do. It's just our time.
Got you. Let me ask you a question. You guys have children?
Yes.
Okay, how many?
I have.
I'm in your business now.
No, I have 4 from a previous marriage, and he has 3.
Okay.
We have 7.
Got you. Look,
Bonus
there you go,
kids.
taking charge.
Yeah.
Now you want to leave, y'all. So with that being said, though, does conflict arise when you're dealing with like the children situation in you guys' relationship?
That's
I let him take that.
That's not really, no, because as a man of the house, and then they're not mine, but they are. You know, you see him and you're interacting because you date her, you date them as well. You know, so she has to date me, she date mine as well too. So they all know each other, but you have to. It's not really a conflict. It's a learning experience for me.
Gotcha.
Because again, her kids are not like my kids. My kids are not like hers.
Gotcha.
All of them have different personalities. All of them have different things. Like we all have like a little. We got little handshakes that you do with some, you know, and things like that,
Right.
and it makes the bond close and personal. So therefore, you know, if something happens, you hope that they can come to you and say, "Hey, I got an issue. This, that, and the other." But if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't,
Gotcha.
you know.
That's good. Well, then guess what? I'm digging, y'all. I'm digging. Let's flip it. How do you think the kids feel? Let's flip it on that.
I think my kids, he has a nickname. His
She
nickname.
keeps saying "my." I thought you said this.
Okay, our
Okay, thank you, sir. Can I shake your hand on camera, sir? Thank you, sir. Okay,
got something.
go ahead.
they gave him a nickname, so he is SDB, Stepdaddy Ben. Yes, so that's SDB. Whenever they want something, or he's the chef because I'm not a cooker.
You would be,
So
right.
yeah,
Okay.
I'll prepare, clean the kitchen, and take the trash out and all that. But they have special things that they would like for him to prepare. So they have a really unique, relationship. He's attended graduations, prom, birthdays, parent-teacher conference. He's done it all.
So you all have a good relationship as far as the kids and everybody blending together and everything. So that doesn't seem to be a big issue. So speaking of issues, one thing that I kind of think that a lot of people may or may not agree with, as far as things that set off maybe arguments or conflicts and things like that, is like holding things inside. So it may be something that she does that you don't really like, or he does that like really gets on your nerve. And you can have 5 things that happened this week that really ticked you off. I feel like when something arises that makes you feel some type of way or whatever, that you should be able to express that immediately and address the issue. Some people hold those things in, you know what I'm saying? And then at some point it all comes crashing down and you kind of like blindside your partner with all of this stuff, and you do this and that, and you'd be like, I did that 3 weeks ago. But it's all just now coming out. So do you all deal with that? And if so, are you the type of people that like to confront issues up front, or do you like, or are you kind of one of those people that kind of hold things in until it's like boiling over?
Of course, we all have our differences where we see something's not right, or about your partner. But we try to take the approach of think about what you're gonna say. Think about what you want to say and how you want to say it. Presentation is everything. Because if you just come out and just blurt it out, then it's like, wow, So take a moment, woosah, and then think about it. If you got to walk away, go do what you need to do. Get yourself together, then come back and say, hey, look, or you might not even discuss it that day. But, I can be cooking and say, man, I didn't really appreciate the other day when you
Right.
slammed the hamburger down. Bam! I'm just bringing it up right now. So, but, that's how you have to do it, though. That's how I look at it. And I think it works out that way for us.
Okay. Okay. How you feel about that?
Sometimes if I'm bothered or upset about something, I just let him have it. And he'll be like, give me a minute. And I'm like, no, I'm calling you back. I'm texting you. I'm like, no, we need to talk about this now. So I have to respect his space. And I'm still learning how to do that, because before I'm going to keep calling you. We need to talk about this now. He was like, no, we're not. We're not going to talk about this now. You really don't want to hear the answers that I'm going to tell you if you want to talk about this now. So that's a challenge for me, because I don't want to hold that. Let me get it up and out so I can be done with it. But with him, let me process this. Give me a minute. So I'm learning how to give him his space And then 5 minutes later, can we talk about it now? No. Okay, well, I guess we can't talk about it till tomorrow.
Gotcha.
Well, I think that's a great technique though, because I'm like you. Like if something I don't like, I'm want to let you know about it. But we have to, like he said, think about what we're saying, why we're saying it, and how we're saying it, and so to make sure this don't come off crazy.
Right.
So I learned about a method called the kiss, kick, kiss method. So it's basically like starting it off with the positive and ending it with the positive. So if I were to say, babe, I think you're an awesome husband. I think you're an awesome provider. But, I really don't like the fact that you don't spend that much time with me and you always out with your friends. But, you're doing a really good job and I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But you know what I'm saying? So he don't even really know that he got attacked. Right. It's real nice.
That nice nasty.
Right. Right. So, in the beginning of the show, I talked about the statistic that I found that said that 60% of things that you argue about, you never really resolve. So, do you all have issues that because we have things that we can start arguing about grits, and before you know it, we arguing about something from 10 years ago that keep popping up every time we argue. Do you all have, do you find that you have, unresolved
Don't
things
believe that, child. We perfect. Nah, we not perfect.
America. But do you all find that you have that happen? Do you have some unresolved issues that keep popping up? Or are you able to deal with that?
No, not really.
Really?
You try to get to the root of it. You try to get to the root of it.
Yes.
Trying to get to the root of it.
Yeah, you pretty much get to the root of it, and then you got to go from there and work it out.
Wow.
Work it out.
That is amazing.
Yeah,
that
very
you all
amazing. work
work out everything. Because we have some stuff
Do
that
we?
yeah,
Don't listen to America. I don't got nothing.
we have some issues that are perpetual. But yeah, so I don't know. I thought that was something that a lot of couples deal with. Maybe they do, maybe they don't, or whatever. But I think that's good if you guys don't, are able to kind of work things out. Because I know I talked to a lot of couples about, thinking about why you're really even having this discussion. Because like I said, an argument can start out as something as small as, nothing. And before you know it, it's, it just blew up because you start bringing up old emotions from this. Oh, this time you did this to me, and I didn't.
I want to ask him though to where let's jump off conflict a second, if it's okay.
Okay.
I want to talk about God. Let me start off with us first. I didn't know who he was at first. I knew who he was, but I didn't know who he was. I put a capital K on that no. When we talk about God, how important is that in your relationship?
That's very, very, very important. I was brought up in church. A lot of my family members had positions or have positions as bishops, pastors, ministers, minister of music. So that's something that we do. So I've always been involved in church. So we take turns. We may visit his mom's church or my church or just his sister's church. But that is very important. We read the daily bread. Hey, did you read this? This is good. If Joel has something, Joel Osteen, we would share that. So yes, I pray for him. Pretty sure likewise. And I'll text him something. Hey, I'm having a bad day. Can you pray for me? Or whatever the situation is. I just need you to pray, period. But yeah, God is very, very important.
Gotcha.
I always look at it and say, a family that prays together stays together, and I believe that. I truly believe that.
I got you. Do you?
I do.
Okay. Elaborate on that some.
Well, like she said, we go to church a lot, together sometimes, and we do different things. But without God in your relationship and period in your life, you really can't do anything. Achieve-wise, you know what I'm saying? It's important. it's important to have that personal balance and then that spiritual balance in your relationship too. So
That's good. We actually just were speaking to the other couple about the power of prayer in your relationship and praying for, your spouse and your relationship and each other and everything. So, have you ever had an issue where prayer helped you get through a tough situation in your relationship? He's like, yeah. Had to pray for you, boy. You didn't even know.
Yes, because I think as a man, as a black man, as an entrepreneur, he's faced with a lot of challenges. So you have to constantly pray for them. Just driving home, late at night from Wentzville all the way to North County. You just never know with the way things are occurring in St. Louis.
Right.
Yeah, you got to pray for him because you just never know. So the things that they face, yeah, prayer is definitely in order.
You got any more questions, babe?
No,
I always like to ask people when we end the show, tell me the first word that comes to your mind when you hear the word relationship.
Uh-oh, is it a word? Is that an answer? Just kind of... I don't think that's the answer you want.
No, that better not be. First word, I would say respect.
I would say happiness.
Great.
2 words go hand in hand, huh?
That was great. Okay, guys, that was a great discussion. I want to thank you guys so much for stopping through and talking to us today. We appreciate you so much. So that was our conversation on dealing with conflict today with Ben and Barbara. We want to thank them again for coming through today. I hope you learned a couple things. We had some great tips about, just waiting and getting your thoughts together and your mind right before you go to your partner with the issue. Make sure you're calm and that you're saying things the right way to your spouse before you go with them with any of your issues, and praying for your spouse through conflict. Maybe the Lord can give you the right words to say so that you don't come off incorrect, Again, thanks so much for watching Straight from the Heart today. As always, be sure to like us on Facebook and Instagram. Have a good one.